Hey bitches, it's Heather Ryan coming to you from Des Moines, Iowa. And I have a special guest today. And this is Christine coming to you from
Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I am a bitches chapter lead.
Yay! So Blythe is in Washington, D.C. this week. And so we're just kind of winging it. We're like, hey, we should have another chapter leader on for a special guest. So this is our very, very, very first special guest. Thank you for coming to our Bitches Get Stuff Done podcast today, Christine.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Totally last minute. I was like, oh yeah, I got to record. Maybe I should contact Christine. I meant to do it like 3 days ago and it just did not happen. So that's my fault.
Too much stuff going on for
God,
to make any plans, really. Just
Right.
wing it all.
So Christine's been with us since the beginning, really, right? You opened your chapter months ago. So
yep.
Very
right
active
after,
chapter.
not too far after the election.
Yeah. So that was like right after I put out the call to action. Hey guys, I'm going to lean into this bitches thing. Let's open chapters everywhere. And then you opened one in Cedar Rapids shortly thereafter.
Yes, I did. It's been amazing. It's been a great ride.
Yeah, and my understanding is you're still moving to Nevada?
I am, but we actually got our approval yesterday. So, and we'll close on it, I think, like June 1st. So everything's going according to plan. So I'll be excited to start a chapter down there.
Yay!
Yep. And I've already got Shelby here in Cedar Rapids. It'll take over for me. So it'll be pretty seamless.
Yay! This is great. We don't have a Nevada chapter yet. And in Iowa, if you're not familiar, it's called Nevada. So anytime I say Nevada, the state, I have to remember it's different from Nevada, the town. So
Right.
Eager for that. And we did just sign up a chapter in Alabama. So
nice.
We have our first Southern state chapter. So yay.
That is perfect.
I know, right? I could go on with that for days, but I want to talk about Pope Donald Trump the First.
Oh Lord.
That's what I wanted to kick off our episode with. What the hell? Oh my God.
So the man is the most delusional psychopath I have ever heard of in my entire life. Literally, it would be better if I said, "Hey Heather, I think you should be the Pope." And you're like, "Cool, I'll do it." Like that makes more sense than Pope Trump the First.
Well, I should have come up with some clever name like Pope Orange Turd Stain the First or something.
Oh my God, the best. The best.
The funny thing is, at least I have a history in Catholicism. My family was all Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I was raised Baptist, but at least I know a little bit about the Catholic religion. He doesn't know anything.
He doesn't even know how to hold the Bible right side up.
Right. Do you remember when he said it was 2 Corinthians? He was quoting something and it was 2 Corinthians. I'm like, dude, you learned this in Sunday school. Like, that's basic shit. You're supposed to memorize the books of the Bible. That's stuff you do from kindergarten up. So clearly he never went to any Sunday school ever and has no intellectual curiosity to find out.
No, I mean, not at all. I don't think he has intellectual curiosity to find out anything. I mean, besides talking about wanting to be the Pope and religion, he also doesn't understand tariffs. He also doesn't understand how the arms of the branches of
the military or the government.
No, the branches of the government goes. I mean, there's just so much he doesn't understand, and he doesn't care to look it up. I mean, Lord, everybody knows how to Google.
Right, but he's so smart, he doesn't have to. You can't question him on anything.
Yeah, smartest man, healthiest man, best looking man, richest man.
Did you see where the ABC interviewer was interviewing him, and he insisted that Abrego Garcia had MS-13 tattooed on his fingers?
Right.
And the interviewer was like, "No, dude, that was photoshopped in. That wasn't real." He's like, "No, it wasn't. No, it." And the whole time he's like, "I didn't even know who you were. You owe me. You should be kissing my ass," kind of thing. Like, you need to just check yourself and say, yes, it was.
Right. And I mean, and that's why he's getting rid of, all the journalists everywhere, because if you don't 100% agree with him or you question him on something, even something tiny, you're out the door. I mean, look at ABC, 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
There's something going on. I don't know if it's him or if it's Kim Reynolds, but something going on with the Des Moines Register right here in Iowa.
Both he and Kim Reynolds have lawsuits against the Des Moines Register. His is because he doesn't like the polling that Ann Selzer did. And Kim Reynolds is because she's trying to hide her personal emails. Well, that aren't personal, they're absolutely government emails. But she's trying to hide her prep before she went to Washington, D.C. So the Des Moines Register did a FOIA. They want those emails. And so she sued them saying that I shouldn't have to give you these emails because I should be able to hide whatever I want. So they both. She's taken a page out of Big Daddy's book and suing them as well. Unprecedented.
Lord.
It's never happened.
Yeah.
No governor in Iowa's history has ever said, I deserve to have this kind of privacy and I shouldn't have to abide by FOIA laws.
But let's throw Clinton in jail because, of her
emails.
Emails.
Well, her emails. It has something to do with, remember when she went to D.C. and she said that she couldn't confirm or deny whether or not the Lutheran religion was a money laundering scheme? It has something to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some kind of like advice that she got from somebody, or I don't know, but some kind of back and forth with her advisors. I'm interested to know what was the advice that she got. I'm intrigued now. It's like anything. The more they bitch about it, the more you're like, oh, really? What are you hiding?
Well, and that's 100% right. In my mind, in my opinion, with God, I almost have to say all Republicans. What are you all hiding? They speak out of both sides of their mouth. They don't make sense, and they want us to believe everything they say. So skeletons in all of their closets.
Yes. And I know that this is kind of heavy on Iowa politics here today, but I wanted to, since one thing's leading to another here. So Kim Reynolds is not running for re-election, thank the stars.
Oh my God, yes.
Her lieutenant governor, Chris Cornier, just announced that she's going to run for a state auditor. So here's what I'm thinking. Cornier wants to run for auditor because Rob Sand will probably run and win the governorship. If you have the former auditor in the governorship, all of a sudden, if you have a Democrat in the auditor's position, they're going to have the power and the authority to audit all the stuff that's been going on with the school vouchers and all of the shady ass dealings with private companies. They're going to be able to audit that. And so the Republicans won't be able to cover the tracks ananymore. So,
well, yeah, I can't wait for them to, look into all that and then, Iowa Doge.
Right. So Rob Sand being a governor, if he has a Democrat on board as the auditor, the Republicans are going to be screwed. They're going to totally find all this grift and corruption. So that's why I'm convinced that's why Cornier is running, is that they need to make sure that they can continue to be opaque and not actually do any work in the auditor's office.
Right.
Just a theory, but I'm very confident that once you get an auditor with some power, there's going to be all kinds of craziness that's going to be unraveled or discovered.
100%. Everything coming out.
Yeah. Well, I'm eager for Kim Reynolds to be gone, but she still has a whole nother session. So even though she's not running, she's still got a whole nother session that starts.
I will be sad that Kimmy Reynolds on TikTok will leave. Maybe
retire to Kim Reynolds.
Yeah, it'll be sad.
I'll move on to something else by then. Now I've got the impersonation that I do of Samantha Fett. I'll have to do that more often. I know that gets her goat.
100%.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's another thing. The more she bitches about me saying that I thought her former profession was stripper.
She was a stripper.
She gave it so much oxygen. Everybody's talking about it.
Here's the deal. You don't defend things that are lies, really. You defend like she's defending because, is there some truth to it? Was she? Did she do things on the down low?
My source still swears to everything that's holy that it's true. So I'm trying to find out where. Yeah, I know it was small town Iowa.
And again, sex work is sex work. It's not.
Still work.
It's still work. They're, they still pay, especially strippers or whatever. They're paying taxes.
Sex work is still work, and I don't think that should be shamed at all. But the fact that she is too embarrassed or such a fucking hypocrite, that's, I think, the point. The point is that she's such a hypocrite. She's the one out there banning books. She's the one taking away women's reproductive freedom. She wants us to not have any body autonomy. But at the same time, did she support herself with her body autonomy? What a fucking hypocrite.
Right. And honestly, I mean, think of I don't know, I'll just say hundreds, could be thousands, I don't know, of males and females that have OnlyFans pages or do that sort of stuff to put themselves through college. They end up being doctors, lawyers, judges, accountants, whatever. Work is work. Like you said, you need the money. You do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that just gives it oxygen, just like Chris Cornell running. And you're the first person I've shared my theory about Chris Cornell running. So we'll see if it shakes out. But
knowing you, probably, you seem to have some weird sixth sense of how things are going to go, and then bam, they go that way.
I couldn't have expected so many things to be going such a weird way for me personally right now at this exact moment in time, because I did just put together a super cut. I'm not sure if you saw the super cut of the one of the cops' footage from
that was disgraceful.
Yeah, that's just one cop too. We have 3 cops, and we just got more footage today. So it doesn't get better. That's just one cop. They're all just that bad. Yeah.
It was disgusting, deplorable, every D you can think of. And I'm just like, you so obviously targeted her. You so obviously were, with the other group. Oh, we support you. And oh, it was the blonde. Oh, it was the redhead. If we get her, then people will crack. I'm like, what is she? A freaking millionaire drug dealer? Who's cracking about what? We were just protesting.
And the irony to that whole thing was I really wasn't in charge of that group. I really wasn't. It was just a hodgepodge of protesters from the 50-51 protests earlier in that day. I didn't know most
and you
of them.
you came late after it started.
Yeah, it had already started. I was coming straight from work. Yeah, so I really wasn't leading that group. I'm a fixture at the state capitol, so they must have assumed that since I'm a fixture there that I was leading it. And every time they would come up to me, I would say, hey, dude, these guys are going to do whatever they're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I can't tell them to do anything because I'm not in charge of them. They did not give a flying shit. They absolutely... No. And the whole time, before we got that footage, the whole time I'm thinking, what the fuck? You know what? Why me? I was trying to leave. Just like I knew they were going to push us out, get out of the Capitol. I knew that was going to happen. That's what I expected to happen. Like, oh my God, we have to go. But I did not expect them to arrest me. And so that footage was very clarifying.
Yeah, it's damning. I mean, honestly, I think, which confounds me that the DA is just like, no, we're not going to do this.
We'll know Friday. Our pretrial hearing is on Friday at 10:30 at the Polk County Justice Center, and it is open to the public for anybody who's listening. If you want to come down to see how this all goes, our attorney sent us an email about what to expect. So she put in a motion to dismiss, and we'll see how that flies. I don't know why they would pursue this. They've seen the same damn video. Do they think she's incompetent? Her motion to dismiss is extremely thorough. I mean, she's really thorough. She went through hours of footage and pinpointed every single point where they said, okay, let's get Heather, let's get this, we're doing this to prove a point. We're doing this because we need to break up the ringleader or whatever. At no point was I ever a threat to anybody. I'm a 5'3" fat old lady, but what they did was not legal. They can't just arrest you because they want to prove a point. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they just dismiss it. It would be much easier for me.
Right. No, 100%. Agreed.
So by the time I record our next podcast, we will know whether or not I'm going to trial. And right now that is scheduled for Bastille Day, July 14th. We'll see if that stays.
Of course it is.
No, right?
Oh my God.
It's July 14th. And somebody says, that's Bastille Day. I'm like, son of a bitch, it is. You're right. Storming the Bastille.
Oh.
Like a French revolutionary.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I am going to jump onto our next topic. I have got fake poll numbers as my next thing I wanted to talk about with Donald Trump, since we were already on Pope Orange Turd, the first. I want to go on to the poll numbers that have him underwater. Tell us what they are.
All right. So, looking at Reuters, he's got an overall approval rating of 42% for his performance, 53% disapprove. Economy, 36 approval rate, 36% approval rate. And obviously that's concerning over the entire economic management that he's not doing. Immigration, tons and tons of stories to talk about immigration. Approval rating is at 45%, which honestly confounds me. This is USA Today, with a disapproval rate of just 48%. So that's a little disheartening for me. And then honestly, is tariffs and trades. It doesn't give a percentage on that one from USA Today. However, it does say a significant portion of the public expresses concerns over the impact on tariffs, which I think we've got something to talk about that as well. But yeah, I mean, honestly, economic concerns, particularly related to tariffs and inflation, are significant factors of the public's disapproval. Despite the overall low approval, he still retains strong support among Republican voters, which is scary because we know he said, this is what you voted for. And this is exactly what they voted for. And there's still too many of them that are okay with what they voted for. Even though it's hurting most of them.
I do think that those are going to turn around. I think that he will start to sink even lower and lower in the economy, in immigration, because the effects of those things haven't really hit people yet. Once they do, that's when people will start to pay attention. That's standard Republican, right? I don't give a shit until it affects me.
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, it's not even half the time. It's not even if it affects their best friends or their extended family. It literally has to affect them at home.
Yes, absolutely.
And once that happens, it's like an epiphany, big old light bulb above their head. Oh my God, this is wrong. So I guess we'll wait and see. It's like you said, we're 100 days in. Let's see where we're at 200 a year in. And like you said, his approval rating should and will go down.
Yeah. I think this new thing where ICE broke into that Oklahoma woman's home and ransacked it because somebody used to live there that they were looking for, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So my understanding is that whoever lived there before, either them or someone known to them, was supposedly an illegal immigrant. And they didn't care. They did not care that family wasn't there. They didn't care that the names didn't match. They didn't care about anything.
They didn't care that these ladies were citizens.
Right. United States citizens. And they went
in them out into the street in the rain.
Yeah. And they went in and they took every single ounce of electronics they had. They took all of their money. I don't know if they froze their accounts or just took what was on site, but it doesn't matter. These are American citizens. This is where this is going. And I had heard something before, and I'm sure it's 100% true. I don't have the facts sitting right in front of me, but there's American citizens who are being deported on the daily, and that frightens me specifically because my brother-in-law came here when he was a young kid. There's a whole background story to that. But he came here when he was a young kid, still doesn't have U.S. citizenship. Regardless, that's not the point I'm trying to make, but his kids do. Mm-hmm. And so I just sit here and think, how long is it going to be before my nieces and nephews are deported, even though they're United States citizens? They were born here. Their mother's a United States citizen. When is he going to start doing that?
Yeah, well, he's already doing that with immigrants who have American citizen kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my God, deporting a 4-year-old who has cancer and who is a citizen. That little girl is a citizen, but her mom wasn't. So what?
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that you're going to start seeing more and more of. And I think that's the kind of thing that's going to turn the whole thing around for your stats, for the approval ratings. Because once you start to see, like the lady from Oklahoma, I heard her interview. My God, she was just bawling about how they took all of her money. Now she can't get it from point A to point B. They took her cash and they didn't give her a business card. So she doesn't even know who these fuckers were that broke into her house at gunpoint. She said she thought she was getting robbed. That kind of thing, making the media, bringing it more home.
And I mean, in all honesty, when it gets down to the very nuts and bolts of it, she was robbed.
100%. Yes.
And
what's to stop these people from just pretending like they're ICE agents or cops or FBI or CIA or what's to stop anybody from doing that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. That's terrifying because there's a bunch of freaking vigilante Proud Boy assholes out there that are going to be deputized.
Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, even the ones that are actually genuine ICE agents. I had the privilege to actually go with a woman here in Cedar Rapids to an ICE meeting that she had. It wasn't on her regular scheduled meeting to go. She's got a lawyer. She's working to get citizenship, all that stuff. But they took her husband. And I don't know if they sent him back to the country they came from, if he went to El Salvador, Venezuela, wherever. But they pulled her in on a meeting that wasn't even scheduled. And they were honestly just the rudest people I've ever met in my life. They had no humanity, no empathy. I mean, just nothing. They were cold, brutally mean, and it was god awful.
It's the SS. These are the Nazis. Yeah. These are the people that were hunting for Anne Frank. They're the ones.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, just no decent humanity whatsoever. If you are not a white cis male.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess that really comes back to the whole me being arrested thing too. You could see all of those men in those videos that were talking mad shit about all the protesters. They were all white male cis men. That just they all do look alike to me. I really can't tell the difference between any of them. They're so similar looking, but all tall white guys that were just so machismo ridden fucking testosterone dicks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, don't have an opinion that doesn't agree with me. I mean, they're basically all, Cheeto head minions.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're Officer Trainer said that he supports the family leader in Moms for Liberty. Not a shocker.
I was not shocked either. We support you.
Yeah.
Okay. How about supporting the human race?
What's funnier, and I didn't include this in the supercut, but earlier he was on he was on audio and he said, "Oh, I don't know, moms of liberty, and I think they're pro-choice." Bro did not know the difference between pro-choice and pro-life, but he has such strong opinions about us. He didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He even got their name wrong. That's how uneducated this guy was.
I mean, again, and that's where everything goes back to just being in this fascist Nazi believing. I mean, it's the same, whatever Hitler said, it went downhill, to all the way down to their own police, right? Whatever he said goes. So Trump doesn't know anything. The senators don't know anything. The mayors don't know anything. The cops don't know anything. They'll just say whatever.
Yeah, they just regurgitate whatever they heard from a dear leader.
Yeah, and they don't look anything up.
No, they have no, just like Trump, they have no intellectual curiosity. Zero. Yep. Well, the last thing I have on my list is the Amazon listing the tariff tax. So, so apparently, was it leaked to the media that Amazon was going to start listing how much a price went up because of Trump's tariff?
I can't remember if it was leaked or if Bezos came out and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do because I want you to understand that it's not me raising the prices. Mm-hmm. It's because of these tariffs specifically.
Right. And I know that somebody asked Carolyn, what's Carolyn's name? The press secretary, whatever her name, Levitt, Carolyn Levitt, about it in the morning press conference. And she's like, just all pissed off. And it's just political warfare. Why? Why would they do that? And then Trump, of course, intervened and called Jeff fucking Bezos himself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And of course, and then it went away, It was never a thing to begin with. So fuck all your customers. We don't care about you because, Trump laid down the law to me. Mm-hmm. Which is unfortunate. My guess is something behind it, SEC, FCC, whatever. He was threatened of some sort. You have a monopoly or, your books aren't right or
yeah, there's whatever. A million things Trump can do now that he's weaponized the government.
He's 100%, Yeah, you shit wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like, so we talk about it being like Hitler, but it's like the mafia too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one leader at the top, the rest of them don't think, they just follow.
Yeah, and there's constantly a shakedown. It is by far the most corrupt presidency in the history of the nation. By far. There's so many schemes and scams going on that it's impossible to keep track of them all.
No, yeah. 100%. You can't. I mean, you can't. And I mean, and it's not even like it's every once in a while. It's every hour of every single day.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And how can, and then it's, it goes to all these different courts and you've got to wait then to find out, is it going to be legal? Is it going to be illegal? Are they going to be on his side? Are they going to be on the American people's side? And so you're watching that, trying to figure that one out. Meanwhile, 150 other things have happened.
Absolutely. It's impossible to keep up. Yeah, Blythe and I, we talked about that on Sunday. It's exhausting. It's infuriating, and it's just impossible. And this is what I live for. I mean, I will read every article I can get my hands on throughout the day. I listen to every podcast I can listen to throughout the day. But it's still exhausting, even for me. And this is what I do. This is what I love.
Yeah, 100%. There's just, it's going to be, God, honestly, Heather, years and years, maybe even decades before we know the truth about anything, if we ever do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hoping that there will be somehow that it all comes out. This is what was done. This was the consequences of it, about everything that he's done.
But, Christine, the thing is, Democrats are going to have to grow a fucking set because they're such pussies right now. And I mean that in a derogatory term, even though pussies are way better than balls. But they're such wimps. They don't do anything. They don't want to rock the boat. I swear to God, Chuck Schumer, if I see him one more time on TV, I'm going to stab my eyeballs out.
So I just watched him last night. I think it was on CNN. I'm not 100% sure, but I just watched him last night. And the person that was interviewing him said that exact same thing. Why are you guys not doing anything? Oh, we are. We're fighting him in the House and we're fighting him in the Senate.
Yeah, we need to
Okay.
fight him in the streets.
Yeah, number one, we need to fight him in the streets. And number two, we need to stop being reactive.
Yes.
Get
Yeah.
ahead of this shit. You know what's
Absolutely.
going on. You know what he wants to do. Get ahead of it. Fight it
Yes.
before it even happens.
It's not enough to be against him. You also have to have a plan to fight back. And what are you going to do when you have the power again? You can't, it's not enough to just be against him. They have to come up with their fucking plan. What is their plan? What is their agenda? What are they fighting for? It'd be nice
again,
if they say.
Yeah, I mean, again, not to use it in a derogatory way because, like you said, pussies are way better, but that's it. There's no backbone. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. They run scared. And, you know, they may be like, oh, you know, we're going to win. You know, it's going to be a blue wave or whatever. There's going to be a time relatively soon. And honestly, I mean, I think we're going to see it in the polls that people are going to turn more Democrat just because they're tired of the shit that the Republicans are doing. But if they don't get a third option in there or a fourth option in there, the amount of people in the United States that do vote is going to start dwindling because they don't want either. The Republicans are the worst, but the Democrats really, by not doing anything and not getting ahead of anything and just being completely reactive and quiet, they're no better because of that.
Blythe and I talk about often the new Democratic Party, like just saying, you know, we can't start from scratch because a third party isn't really realistic. You're just going to skip the vote. But you can rebrand. You can come up with a whole new strategy that you haven't used before. And as long as these old guard guys are in there that have been doing politics the same way for 50 years, they're not going to change. They need to get the fuck out.
100%. And I mean, and I back that in my meetings and just people that I talk to in general, and just with grassroots here, which FYI, Angel Ramirez.
Yeah, she just won.
She just won. I mean, the voting was shit. It was like 2,000, 3,000 people that voted, but she won. You know,
it was a safe seat though.
Yeah. But we need that. We need that. She's like, she's under 30. She's amazing. She has been through, I don't know how many nonprofits she's associated with. The new group that I've been talking about, that's going to kind of take us all under their wing so we can be more united. You know, she runs that. And that's what we need. We need these grassroots people in our city councils, on our boards, in our houses, in our state senates, and the federal senate and the federal house. And that's what we need. New blood, ready to fight for the American people. End of story. Not money, not stature, but for the American people as a whole.
Yeah. I could not agree more. Absolutely. Until we get young people in there, I even consider us young, Christine. We're not young, but we're younger than these ancient relics that are in right now that have made hundreds of millions of dollars in insider trading. I mean, you go to Congress poor, you come out rich. There's nobody that leaves Congress poor. You just go in poor. Right. It's a fucking money-making scheme.
Yep. And I think what it is, you know, with you and me and everybody younger and maybe a few older people, but just like you said, they don't care to Google anything. You know, they don't want to learn anything but what they've already known and have been taught. And
Democrats are just as in bed with special interest groups as Republicans are. They're just as bought and paid for. Until you get more AOCs in there and people who actually have a conscience and scruples, it's going to continue to be the same. We're going to continue to lose as Democrats. We have to rebrand this party.
Yeah, and these people are so out of touch. I mean, they're just so out of touch with things that need to be done. So, yeah, I mean, younger Gen Xers, millennials, you know, and Gen Z when they're old enough. You
Absolutely.
know, 100%. It's a whole brand new thing honestly since 2000 forward, and all we have is the same.
Yeah. The same people, because they just can't leave power. They just can't take their mitts off of it. I blame Biden for where we are right now. He should have said, I am done after one term. That's it. I'm done. He's too fucking old. But just like all the other ones, he was like, oh, the country can't survive without me. I'm an old fucker, but it doesn't matter. You guys can't go on without me.
Well, and there was there were so many things that he could have done with executive orders to stop some of this, but he chose not to do that either because, we can't rock the boat.
If Biden had just said, hey, I'm done after one, and we're going to have primary elections, and we were, as a party, were able to suss out who we wanted to elect rather than having someone shoved on us like they did with Hillary, then I really think things could have gone differently.
Yeah. I mean, it was a minute to midnight, and he was like, oh, let's put Harris in.
Yes.
And she very well could have been the right candidate, 100%. But, she needed a couple of years, to get to that point. And she just, she couldn't. I don't fault her at all. I really don't. Because, like I said, she very well could have been the best candidate that we could have. But she just didn't have the time to get out there to.
Right. There's no way to know.
Yeah.
Primaries make candidates better candidates. And since 100%. She didn't go through one, then she didn't become the best candidate she could be.
Yeah.
I really think she made missteps, like big missteps, like fuck Cheney. Why the fuck were we cozying up with Liz Cheney? Weird stuff like that.
Yeah. No, agreed 110%. I kind of feel like, Heather, that, we're a red state. We got a bunch of red states that are around us. 3/4 of the United States is red, whatever. And then we've got this president. My hope is that there's going to be more grassroots that take effect, that we can't, God, how do we sink any lower?
Oh, don't ask that question. That's asking for bad things to happen.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I'm like, we just need to go up. We need to figure this stuff out. And I think that's going to start with people like bitches get stuff done. 50-51. That's where it needs to start. It needs to start with all of us in the grassroots.
Absolutely. As long as they don't eat
build
their own.
From there.
Yeah. The infighting drives me bananas. Hopefully, it won't make us implode.
Because we all want the same things, right? So who cares who leads
the same fight?
Yes.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of that, I wanted to remind everybody of the May Day protest. The one in Des Moines is on May 1st. That is tomorrow. We are recording on April 30th, so it's a Wednesday night. We always record Wednesdays and Sundays. So I will get this edited and up, hopefully, before tomorrow morning. I've got another phone call after this.
And Cedar Rapids is on Saturday.
Yep, I was going to say, some of them are having them on Saturday, May the 3rd. I've even seen a few on May the 4th, since it's Star Wars Day.
Right. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I love it. I kind of wish ours was on May 4th so I could go like as a Sith Lord or something.
Oh, that would be the best.
But the one in Des Moines is at the state capitol from 4 to 5:30. When's the one in Cedar Rapids?
It is from, I believe, noon to 2, and that is going to be behind the federal courthouse on 8th Avenue.
Awesome. And I know there's one coming up in June as well, and that's going to be nationwide, not just in the capitals, but at all the courthouses, city halls. They're going to try and spread it throughout the entire country. So gear up for that one too. Bitches Get Stuff Done has a fun event coming up that I haven't actually told you that much about. Us and the Sioux City chapters are starting to plan a May 17th caravan of protest to different legislators' homes. So that is a Saturday. We're going to have our regular meeting where we'll make signs or whatever and prepare for doing like a caravan, like 5 or 6 cars in a row. And we're just going to drive to different politicians' homes because session will be out by then. And all these guys will be back in their homes and back in their districts. So we're not telling anybody who the homes are because they will definitely not be there if we do.
Right.
but we're gonna take it to the streets. They're passing this horrible legislation, and so we're gonna go to them. And it's coming together nicely. So if you decide that Cedar Rapids wants to do something like that, let me know. I'm going to put all of the different locations on the website. It'd be great if we could make something like that go, national. Who knows? It's a brand new concept. Zayden, our chapter leader in Sioux City, came up with it. Yeah, he came up with it. So I'm not ashamed to admit I'm stealing it because it's a great idea.
I mean, I would too. And we've actually been talking here in Cedar Rapids about doing a weekly lunchtime sit-in at City Hall. Where
nice.
Each week, I mean, it could be same people, it could be different people. We go with signs, we take our lunch. They've got this great, big, huge, long kind of sitting area inside of City Hall, and just sit there with our signs and eat lunch.
Fantastic. That's a great idea.
It's a silent protest. We've got our signs up, something different every single week. So working on that. I have talked to the people from 5501 as well about that, so we can get some more people in there. But sounds like some really, really great grassroots initiatives.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys end up doing that, let me know. I'll put it on the website as an event that you can go to. Perfect. Well, that, for the most part, is everything I had on my agenda to talk about on this episode of Bitches Get Stuff Done podcast. Any last words, my special guest, Christine?
Just that we're all one. There's not. We all need to stand together. We all need to, I know this probably sounds like the 70s. We need to love one another. We need to show empathy. We're all humans. We all bleed the same. Just get out there and talk about everything you can talk about. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's a fantastic point. We actually have way more in common than we have differences. And billionaires are not your friends. They're not your idols. They are your oppressors. And that's what you need to remember whenever someone says, oh, I love Elon Musk or I love Donald Trump. They're not your friend. They have no desire to be your friend. Ever.
No, they don't. And honestly, they're millionaires and billionaires because they walked on the backs of all of us everyday people.
Absolutely. I find it immoral to be a billionaire. That just means that you have screwed over millions of people somehow. That's the only way you can become a billionaire. And you probably didn't work that fucking hard for it either. You've just screwed a bunch of people.
Yep.
So guys, with that is the end of our episode of Bitches Get Stuff Done, bi-weekly podcast. You can contact us on our voicemail at 515-442-0422. You can always visit us on our website at bitchesgetstuffdone.org. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, give us a call. Love to hear from you. Always leave a voicemail. I don't really ever answer that call. So just leave a voicemail. Probably nobody's going to answer. And if it's interesting, then maybe we'll play it on later for you. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you for being a special guest, Christine.
You bet. Thank you, Heather.
We'll see you later, alligator.
Bitches get stuff done, that's a fact. Unapologetic on the